Hey everyone, I'm a mechanical engineer living in China. You can call me Dr. Y. This is my first go at doing a podcast, chatting with friends from around the world. I'm here to answer all sorts of questions about China. Could be serious stuff like history and culture, or maybe you just saw a China-related meme on Shorts. And I'm not against some cheeky, weird questions. In fact, I believe dealing with some of these sensitive topics in a slightly smart way can really build our bonds. Feel free to follow and leave your comments below. Each episode, I will pick the hottest comments from last time as our topic. For this channel's kickoff, I'm going to address a common question. Do Chinese people hate foreigners? In recent years, countries like the US have shown some awareness or even hostility towards China, at least at the government level. And you've probably seen reports on how China has also been hostile or resentful in return. I think when politics get all heated, trying to understand another country and its people solely through our own country's media or politicians can be pretty toxic. So as a Chinese, I'll answer this based on my own experience and observations, and hopefully reduce some bias. From what I've seen, most Chinese people don't have a particular negative feelings toward foreigners. But over the last 10 or maybe 15 years, indeed, some folks have started feeling some resentment. I don't have hard data to back this up, and honestly it's going to be hard to get, but I'll share the changes I've noticed. Back in the day, like 30 years ago, when China was opening up, everyone was curious about and liked foreigners, maybe even a bit blindly. Only a few still held old grudges. It was actually a point of pride to interact with foreigners. I remember as a kid, lots of TV shows would feature foreign-looking guests, probably students or English teachers here. And they were portrayed almost like celebrities. TV stations loved to showcase them. Until around 2010, people were still happy to meet foreigners, especially those from developed countries. I remember there was a lot of admiration for Western democracy and market economies. These ideas dominated Chinese online discussions. Everybody was talking about that, and believed China would evolve in that direction and eventually become one of those Western countries. Now here's something funny. Some people might think Chinese people hate the Japanese because of World War II atrocities. But back in the 1980s, there wasn't much public hate speech against Japan, except for some criticism of their far-right groups. But not too many people care about it. People loved Japanese movies, anime, and culture. And we can look at China's booming mobile game industry now. It's full of Japanese-style games, because this generation grew up on that stuff. Maybe 15 years ago, resentment towards Japan over World War II crime became far more intense suddenly. The theory I saw a lot was once China's GDP overtook Japan's, there was this shift from respect to disdain, and historical grudges were brought back and utilized. Then this trend of hostility extended to other countries, mainly the US, followed by the UK, Korea, and recently Israel. I remember 20 years ago, Israel was admired in China for its resilience and success. But now it's just seen as America's ally, or probably accomplice. There's almost no bad feeling towards Germany, probably because it's often compared to Japan. The official narrative is that Germany is the good guy who took responsibility for its past, apologized for World War II. But recently there's a bit of looking down on Germany, though it's not super noticeable, but I can feel that. Feelings about Russia are super polarized. When Russia invaded Ukraine, most people in China thought Ukraine was a failed state and deserved it. There was this viral rumor that Russia won in like an hour and 22 minutes, which became the joke of the year. But at the time, I'd say maybe over 90% were praising Russia. But as it became clear that Russia's first move didn't go as planned, those who were against Russia started mocking the crazy Russia fans, and a couple of months into the war, the praise for Russia dropped to around, say, 60%, and kept going down slowly, perhaps 50 to 50 now. Now, about America. It gets a lot of attention from Chinese folks. It's a super complicated topic, and I can't cover everything in this episode. But there's a fun fact I'd love to share. Most Chinese, including those who dislike the US, actually preferred Donald Trump as president, even though he targeted Chinese economy and high-tech industry. Well, I hope my first podcast gives you some fresh, interesting insights into what's going on in China. If you've got questions about what Chinese people are thinking or doing, please leave a comment below. And I'd love to read your thoughts on China too. This is Dr. Y. Catch you in the next episode.